Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. I'm Sethum and I have a bit of explaining to do. If you guys have been following my series in this walkthrough, you'll know that the last episode I was in the Mako, and in this episode all of a sudden we are in this elevator. So what has happened is I lost that footage for some reason. Actually, not for some reason, it was corrupted, so I couldn't actually retrieve it. So I'm going to explain to you guys how I kind of record my gameplay, and then you'll see what happened. So basically, what I do when I record, I tend to record my gameplay footage in 20 to 60-minute blocks. So that does help me in case I do lose footage. I don't lose out a lot. So basically, I ended up playing for a couple of hours and recorded all the footage and everything. And when I went back to the editing process, I noticed that there was a segment missing. I looked all around my computer, found it in the end, and it was corrupt. I couldn't actually load it into my editing program. I tried to retrieve it, didn't work out very well. I had to delete it. There was just no point. And I'm like, I'm not gonna play a couple of hours of this game again just to get back to where it was. So basically, I'm just going to tell you guys what happened in that 20-minute block of footage, and thank God I decided to save that as a 20-minute block because I didn't lose out that much. Once I got in the Mako, I then had to drive up a snowy mountain path and fight a ton of Geth, looted some stuff. Nothing big, nothing important, nothing actually important to the storyline anyways. Once I reached the Peak 15 entrant, obviously had to get out of the Mako. There was a big room filled with Geth and some Krogan, which I had to fight through. Then I had to get into an elevator, which led to a separate room that had a computer AI core, which was shut down. So I had to do a little mini puzzle type of game, reset the computer, which told me that I had to then go and reset some other stuff and turn them back on. So there was an elevator which I then took, and obviously it led me up to the rooftop where I have to continue the mission and obviously restart all of the machines that need to work alongside the computer. And in terms of like the recording, because I do record my audio separately and not as a part of my game recording, that did also allow me to pretty much just re-edit the entire commentary. So this isn't as live as I would have liked it to be, but I guess it could have been a lot worse. I'm just thankful it was a 20-minute block that I lost and not more, because otherwise it would have been a pain to do all the gameplay all over again just to get to that point. And because I know that the next part is going to be quite difficult and challenging because I'll get bum rushed by a ton of NPC characters, I decided to spend some quality time upgrading all of my squad's gear and mods and all that, just to obviously give them a better chance of surviving and hopefully obviously trying to get some heat off of me. I mean, you will see in a bit that it will get quite difficult, and that does bring me to the next bit that I did forget to mention. On the way to this elevator or this rooftop, we do have to fight some bugs which are also known as the Rachni. So we do get introduced to the Rachni, and you will see what they look like in a bit for those that haven't played Mass Effect. Because I leveled up several times on the way here and looted everything, I did end up having a massive inventory of items to look through. So I did spend quite a bit of time with the upgrading part of this video. And for those wondering what I record my gameplay footage with, I do use two separate softwares. I do use OBS Studio and I also use Fraps. Now, for this gameplay up until this point, I have only used Fraps because I do like how simple it is on the system. It doesn't take up a lot of resources, whereas OBS does seem to use up a lot more of the resources. So that means I can record my gameplay with more frames per second in Fraps. There is a downside to Fraps though, and that is the tremendous size of the file. So I think that is what went wrong with the recording. Because it was such a big size, something must have gone wrong in the encoding part, and when it saved, it just didn't save properly. Now, of course, OBS is completely free to use, whereas Fraps, you do have to buy it. I mean, I have used Fraps in the past. I do like it. It hasn't changed a lot, and to be fairly honest, it hasn't been upgraded for several years now. However, I don't think it needs any upgrading because it does a good job. I think the only thing they could probably do with it is just tweak the file size of the recording. But I can't really complain about that because I have a ton of hard drive space, so it really doesn't bother me. And when I say ridiculous amount of space, just to give you an idea, 40 minutes of recorded game footage in Fraps will take up, roughly speaking, about 24 gigabytes of hard disk space. So that is quite ridiculous. But I do like how simplistic the menu is and how user-friendly it is. And apart from a few small hiccups, it doesn't really have many problems, which is why I do prefer it anyways. I mean, what software do you guys recommend? What do you guys use for your gameplay recording? Let me know down there in the comment section and I will check them out. Seeing as I have started recording this walkthrough with Fraps, I am going to continue with it all the way through to the last episode. And based on what you guys tell me or recommend down there in the comment section, I will try them out with the second Mass Effect game. And as I am already asking you guys for advice, I kind of thought I might as well ask you if there are any games that you folks would like to see playthroughs in the future on this channel. I will read through my comments and I will try and respond to some of you. Obviously, I do tend to be quite busy, so I won't get a chance to respond to everybody, but do rest assured that I will read your comments. So please leave me suggestions in terms of future gameplays and I will obviously try and get on it. Now, some of the requests may take a bit of time to materialize, but rest assured I do listen to what you guys say and I do try my best to fulfill your guys' requests. Okay, so now with all of that out of the way, I am going to try and re-commentate on this video. As I said before, it won't be a live commentary, but it will be a commentary, so I think I might as well try and include some tips and advice for those that do want to play this game, and I do recommend it. It is a very good game and it is definitely worth picking up, and even better than that, you can actually pick it up for next to nothing.
Manual restart required.
Now, this area can be quite tricky to actually do, and what I suggest for this area is basically trying not to fight this this horde of Rachni statically. Just move around as much as you can, because they do spit acid or whatever they spit, and it's not as dangerous as bullets, so they won't hit you as fast. You can actually dodge them and actually reduce the amount of damage that your character will take. So running around and picking off the NPCs one at a time, obviously making use of all the obstacles to put a distance between you and the NPCs is the way to go. However, you do need to be careful because there are the small green Rachni that do crawl on the floor, and those do explode on contact with your character, so you need to avoid them and actually pick those out first, because those are the most dangerous ones. After that, once you have the big Rachni, just keep running around the room and just pick them off one at a time. So as you can see, I very nearly didn't manage to do this part. It was quite a close call, and I did follow my own advice and just run
That's all I
around.
need right now.
This is
well,
the
Commander.
VI
Logging out.
that I reactivated it, and it basically sent me up to this rooftop. Also, I do suggest looting as much as you can because there is a ton of good stuff, and it just really helps with increasing your damage and even getting
User
in those
alert.
credits.
Main reactor shut down in accordance with emergency containment procedures. Manual restart required.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back down to that VI core, and you'll get a chance to see what it looks like. There is a elevator thing going on where it does take you down into the core itself, where you will have the puzzle to do, and when you complete that puzzle, you can, well, the core restarts. You can alternately use metagel to just escape or get that bit done and not do the minigame, but it uses a lot of metagel, and I don't think it's worth it. Plus, the minigame isn't all that difficult. That is
User
the
alert.
VI
Main
core that
reactor
you just
shut
saw
down
there,
in accordance with
and it
emergency
does have a little
containment
elevator thing that
procedures.
takes you to the bottom.
Manual restart
And
required.
for some reason, this scene kind of feels a bit like I'm playing Alien versus Predator, where the red light comes out of the floor. Which I quite did like that throwback, so that was that done. It'll take me to this room where I have to reset something else. I don't remember what it is. I think it's the reactor core now. And it will be filled with a ton of geth. So again, I do recommend quite a bit of caution with this, and just kind of try and play it strategically.
User alert. Main reactor shut down in accordance with emergency containment procedures. Manual restart required.
I do like the voice acting. It is really, really well done for this game. Surprisingly well done. I mean, this game came out in 2007. That's almost 10 years ago. So I can't really complain about too much, bearing in mind how old it is. And 10 years for a game, that is a lot. And I think it actually was one of, and still is, one of the best games out there. Definitely worth picking it up if you haven't played it. And one thing you need to watch out for in this game is the missiles, because they will one-shot kill you. So my suggestion for this section is obviously try and pull the geth in small groups, and focus on the ones that launch the rockets. The ones with the other guns don't really matter. You'll take them out anyways, but it's the ones with the rockets that have a lot of damage on them, so focus on those ones first. Because there is such a large number of geth in this area, it is very good practice to just try and pull them in as small groups as possible. Just makes it that much easier and does increase the chances of actually surviving this section of the game. There is actually a variety of geth, as you will see in this part, and the big number one tip that I can give you is use the doors as obstacles between you and the NPCs. For some reason, they don't seem to be able to activate the doors, which is quite odd. I mean, I don't know why a robot does not know how to open doors, but it does know how to fire a rifle. Very interesting. But it is a definite advantage for you, so definitely make use of that advantage. Now, I think that you can get away without having to kill all the geth, but don't take my word for it. However, I have a feeling you can do this portion without having to kill all the geth, but I do want that peace of mind, so I am going to go out of my way to make sure that the room is clear. Just don't want to be surprised, and I just want to have that reassurance. As you guys are probably used to by now, I also do spend a bit of time in this portion of this game looking around, making sure that I have looted everything that there is to loot. I mean, you will probably see why I do this, and in the long run, I think it is such an easy game in terms of being able to purchase the end tier stuff. So by doing this, it just really helps me out majorly with making sure that I have the latest and greatest gear for myself and my squad members. So I do recommend it. There isn't that much of a big threat at any one point in this game, but there are small portions that we do need to be careful for and just proceed with caution, generally speaking. So seeing that this is pretty much a commentary over a already pre-recorded gameplay, I thought might as well take the opportunity to talk about my thoughts on Mass Effect Andromeda, maybe a bit of speculation, and kind of what I'd like to see in the game. Now, the first thing I would love to see a continuation for would be the Reapers. Now, I know some people might not necessarily understand why, but I think the Reapers were such a massive thing in the trilogy. I would like to see them in this Andromeda game, and that would just make them a massive intergalactical threat instead of just a threat to the Milky Way. So that would be absolutely awesome. It would definitely continue to feel Mass Effect-y. And based on what is out there so far, I think there is a possibility of that happening. I mean, from what we know so far, there is going to be a long lost race, and we're going to be searching the ruins and stuff like that. So that does kind of make me think and hope that the Reapers will continue to be a big, massive threat. What do you guys think? Would you like to see the return of the Reapers in Mass Effect Andromeda? The other thing I actually am thinking about is the Geth. I wonder if there will be Geth in Mass Effect Andromeda. They don't die, so that could be plausible. I wonder though. The Geth were such an important part of this trilogy. It'd be sad to see them disappear. Maybe if they don't appear in the first Mass Effect Andromeda, maybe the continuation of the game, we might see some Geth. It would be nice to have them. It would just make it feel that much more familiar. However, I do wonder if they do that, how that will tie into the story. There isn't any information about Geth or anything. These are just speculations and some of my thoughts on the game. I have no idea what that was, honestly. I have played Dragon Age Inquisition, and it was an okay game, I guess. The storyline was very disappointing, and I definitely did not connect with the characters at all for that game, which I guess kind of does bring some worries to Mass Effect Andromeda. I do hope that they make the characters and keep them interesting, because they have done that for the trilogy. And the only reason I brought this out is because I know they'll be using some systems that were in Dragon Age Inquisition, so that kind of makes me hope that Mass Effect Andromeda won't be a disappointment of a game, to be fairly honest. I do hope that it will remain interesting, that it will have an interesting plot line, and the characters will be nice and interesting and even realistic. I mean, this is what Mass Effect has offered. The characters are so realistic in terms of personalities. You can actually associate with them, and I am definitely tempted to want to find out more about their backgrounds and their history, which with Dragon Age Inquisition, I just didn't connect with it. I didn't connect with the characters. There wasn't that chemistry. There wasn't that sympathy. So if a character died, I couldn't care less. Whereas in this game, the storyline is put so well together that when you do lose a character, you do feel sorry for the loss of that character, which is what a good game should have, a good story. So it's going to be interesting to see what turn the Mass Effect universe will take with this new game.
Controls for the fail-safe systems are located in the security checkpoint outside decontamination. User alert. The fail-safe system is currently inoperable.
What would it take to get the decon failsafes operating again?
There is a hardware fault in the control system. This can be repaired on-site using a standard Omni tool.
That's all I need right now.
Very well, Commander.
Okay, I just wanted to let you guys hear what the options were. I kind of talked over it. The other thing that does surprise me with Mass Effect Andromeda is the amount of information, or the lack of information, that there is on that game. And to be fairly honest, we are getting quite close to the game's release, and there is very, very, very little information, so they're keeping a very tight lid on it. I am looking forward though to November, when they will release some more information about the game. I am most certainly going to keep my eyes and ears wide open. I do want to know what the game is about and what to expect from it, and when we do have that information, we can maybe even open up a discussion about it and kind of just share ideas on the channel. I'll make a video, I'll probably put it in a game, I'm not sure at this point, but if you guys do want to do that, let me know in the comments section, and as usual, if people request it, I am more than happy to do that. I just don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it. Might do a separate video as a vlogging type of thing. I might include it in a gameplay video. I'm not sure at this current time, but we do have plenty of time ahead of us to consider it. And the other thing I actually want to find out, and I'm actually looking forward to, is I want to find out what the collector's edition will contain, if there will be a collector's edition, you know, how expensive it will be, and I don't know, maybe if they offer something nice, I might try and get the collector's edition, but it all comes down to what will be contained in that package. I would personally like to see some type of a statue or replica. If that is the case, then I will most likely try and get a collector's edition, but I wonder what to put in it, and obviously if there will be a collector's edition. In terms of gameplay for Mass Effect Andromeda, I would like it to be as fluent as possible and interrupted by as few loading screens as possible, similar to what they did in this Mass Effect game. That would be absolutely awesome. It would just make the experience feel that much more fluent.
I'd only be upset if they'd fired.
Even hopped up on stems, my people know the rule. 2 legs good, 4 legs bad. Look, you're human and that's enough that I won't shoot, but I'd like to know who you are.
My name is Shepard. I'm a Spectre.
Huh. I won't look a heavily armed horse in the mouth. The aliens overran the hot labs last week. Only Han Olar got out, and he ain't all there anymore. First we knew the bastards were clawing into my command post. We had a lot more staff then.
You were taken by surprise and had civilians to protect. You did a good job, Captain.
Yeah? Sure as hell doesn't feel like it. The board sent an Asari to clean up the mess. She went to the hot labs yesterday. We haven't heard from her since.
Venezia. Is she still over there?
I don't know. I don't see what one person could do.
A matriarch has the skill to keep herself alive for a long time.
There's an emergency elevator out by the trams. This card will let you activate it. Can take you down to the hot labs. Oh, and if you need any first aid, Dr. Cohen's downstairs in the med bay.
How are your people holding up?
We weren't expecting the initial wave. They made it inside. We lost some good people. Those of us left are short-handed. We've kept order by long shifts and stems. I don't like it, but I don't see an alternative.
I need to know more about the situation in the hot labs.
The facility's off the network. The only way to find out would be to send scouts down the elevator, and I won't send my people to their death.
Did the aliens come from inside the facility, or did they attack from outside?
You want my personal opinion? Labs like that exist to do stupid crap that gets people killed.
What can you tell me about the aliens?
Ask Dr. Olar. He's the only one who made it out of the hot labs. He's the only Volus left in here.
I've got work to do.
Yeah, I hear that. Hell! Man the perimeter!
Go, go, go! Go, go, go!
Think we're good, Commander.
Thanks for the help. Every few hours, a group comes up the tram tunnel. It's actually better since we locked down the elevator.
I'll do whatever I can.
I don't know why they keep throwing themselves against our defenses. Even animals should learn not to stick their noses where it hurts.
In terms of the characters, what I'd like them to do would be what they did with Mass Effect 2, where we do missions for them and we just kind of get to see how they evolve and we get to know them on a more personal level. They actually do that in this game as well, so that would be so nice to see. And I do hope that it builds up to something epic, just like Mass Effect 3. Now,
What?
You're a member of the science teams?
Recently transferred, yes.
What do you do here?
Molecular genetics. I specialize in biotic-enhanced allele-specific hybridization.
Think you could translate that into galactic?
It's a genetic thing. Forget it.
That's all for now.
Then I will return to my meditations.
What do you want?
I didn't mean to bother you.
No, you did nothing wrong. I'm just distracted.
What happened to these people?
They're suffering from a toxin. There was an accident. I have a non-disclosure agreement. I shouldn't discuss it with anyone outside of the company.
But you're going to, because I might be able to help.
And I'd like to think that the company finds our lives more valuable than their secrets. You know Mira, the VI for Peak 15? She handles the safety protocols for our experiments here.
We reactivated her on our way through Central Station.
That was you? I'm grateful. Until she came online, the automatic equipment wouldn't work. We lost the connection to Mira in the middle of an experiment and the quarantine failed. These three were exposed to a toxin, something we were working on.
I understand your caution, but I need details. What you say won't go beyond these walls.
It's a bioweapon, based on an exotic life form discovered on the frontier. They wanted something that could kill the creature. But there was no profit in something that kills one species on the frontier. We kept working on it and adapted it to affect more species. Thoros B is highly infectious, but can't pass from one person to another, like a biowar attack without a pandemic spread.
Do you imagine that distinction makes this ethical?
Militaries, governments, they'll get this kind of weapon one way or another, and we're trying to limit the damage. I know you can't see that.
There's a reason the Citadel conventions forbid bioweapons, Doctor.
I didn't expect you'd understand. Our notes and equipment are locked in the quarantine labs. Captain Ventralis doesn't want to risk more contamination.
I'll talk to him. Maybe I can convince him to let me try.
I can't ask you to do this officially, but if you can do anything, I'd appreciate it.
Talk to you later.
I hope you can do something.
I know there are mixed opinions on Mass Effect 3, but from my perspective, it is one of the best games. I definitely most absolutely loved it, and I could tell right off the bat that it was going to be a drama. The way it starts out, the music, the whole thing, you can tell that it's building up to something big, and that it is quite dramatic. Maybe they didn't, they wanted some closure on Shepard and it left that a bit iffy, but...
What? No! Sorry, I haven't had much sleep since the attack. Is there something you need?
How are you holding up?
It would be petty to complain after showering off a coworker's brain. None of us have had enough sleep since the attack.
However, from my perspective, it is one of the best games out there in terms of storyline. I absolutely loved it, and I think that is the way it should have ended. Now, I know that there will be a lot of people out there that will disagree with me, and I'm just gonna say this right here and right now. This is my personal opinion based on my experience with the game, and if you have a different opinion or different thoughts about it, you can let me know down there in the comment section, and why not, we can even open up a discussion about it. But from my experience with the game, I absolutely enjoyed it, so much so that was the actual game that got me into the Mass Effect trilogy. That is the first game I played out of the trilogy, and after playing it, I went back to my game retailer and bought the first two and played it all over again. So I think I played Mass Effect 3 like 3 times, and that was just because I wanted to see what else it could offer in terms of gameplay and story. My big disappointment with the game, though, it felt very linear. It didn't feel as open as the other games, where it kind of let you pretty much do stuff the way you wanted it to. It was one of those games that led you on a path, which, it is understandable because it does have a story to tell. So I think that was my only small nitpick with it, but it's only a very, very small thing. I mean, it really more than makes up with the story that it has to tell.
You came to find out about them, didn't you?
You mean those things out there?
Yes. I'm the only survivor from the hot lab,
I need to know more about those things out there.
About the Rachni?
Rachni? That's preposterous.
Where did they come from?
They found it in a derelict ship. An egg. Waiting since the last battles. They brought it here.
Shut up! God, you want to get us killed?
I don't have any control over who lives or dies here. Do you?
If you're gonna be crazy, be the quiet kind.
Crazy? I'm sane. God, am I sane.
I need to know everything about the Rachni.
I told you all I can. We brought the Rachni back from the dead. In retrospect, a bad decision.
How can I get into the maintenance area?
A team lead would have access. Like Dr. Cohen. He's in the medical bay.
I'll be leaving now.
Now, going back to Mass Effect 1 and this gameplay, there are several side missions that you can pick up from around here, and I do recommend picking them up and completing them before you carry on with the main mission, because once you choose to carry on with the main mission, you will lose access to them, and that is just easy XP, and you might even get a few levels out of it, get some gear, and so therefore why not? The bigger you are in terms of level, the better the gear you have, the easier the game gets. That was one of the big mistakes I made during this playthrough. As I was recording and playing, I sidetracked and I ended up completing the main mission, which meant I lost on the secondary missions, so I had to replay this portion again, which is another reason for me not wanting to go back and do that Mako scene. That was far too much. I mean, I'd already replayed this bit for you guys, or to get the full story for you guys a couple of times, And when I found that that portion of the recording was missing, I was like,
Something
no.
you need?
I've heard about the problems in the quarantine lab. I'd like to recover the toxin cure.
God, I wish we could help those guys. I really do, but we can't risk contamination now.
We're not part of your defense plans. We're consuming extra rations, extra Medigel.
Yeah, but you also have extra guns. All right, you want to gamble with your life, you're not under my command. I'll have the guard let you in, but he'll lock the door behind you. He'll run a full scan before he'll let you out. If there are any anomalies, you stay in there.
Those are reasonable precautions.
Well, this
Alrighty, I'll have
was
to let the guard
definitely
know.
a
Good luck.
different type of commentary for my walkthrough. If you
Cover
have
it today.
any opinions
You and me
on
both.
what I've said or want to talk about what I've said, why not? Let's start a discussion down in the comments section. I'm interested to see what you guys think, what your opinions are, what you're looking forward to from the new game. I honestly do hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe, guys.